11 is Cedric Mitchell, and number 12, we're going to see him a lot as a backup tonight, is Bryson Denley. The deep men for Bowling Green. Nicholas O'Shea, 46, for Morgan State in the white uniforms, decked out in the orange numbers, and we're off. Mitchell for the 15. And stood up before he could even get to the 25. And look at the fire right now of Morgan State. You might imagine they're going to come in this game amped up. And that's Malachi Washington with the tackle off special teams to keep this from being a significant run on kickoff. So the big mystery this week is who's going to start at quarterback for Bowling Green. They've got two guys available. And they have decided on number 6, Darius Wade, who is a transfer from Boston College. He is a graduate senior, so he was allowed to transfer immediately and play immediately. And with a steady diet of Andrew Clare to help him out, Clare in the first carry of the game almost picks up first down yardage.
Well, we mentioned Andrew Clare. He's going to get the start in the backfield no matter who's the starting quarterback behind there. Darius Wade gets that start. You mentioned 25 games in his career at Boston College through 2017 and 18.
2 runs up to the 40-yard line. First down, Bowling Green. Claire's a great kid, has great faith. And in addition to that, he's on the Athletic Directors Leadership Council, so nobody doubts what kind of kid this guy is, John.
No, and you're going to see it right there. Very physical runner, just named top 25 player in this conference for this year. But he's got a lot of talent, and he's very, very physical.
On play action, which a good running attack allows you to do, Darius Wade throws incomplete. So 3 plays in, able to move the football up to their own 40, and Darius Wade, who has suffered through a shoulder injury that nearly knocked him out from college football altogether. He got a job at Home Depot and said, I'm done with college football, but then he healed up, got in touch with Scott Loeffler, who took the job here, and Wade, as a result, now has got a new life. One guy you will not see tonight is Matt McDonald, who is still trying to clear NCAA eligibility, John, and if he does, some people feel he may be the heir apparent to the quarterback position.
Yeah, and that's a very talented guy, too, as you take a look at the starting offense for these Falcons. But Darius Wade, a guy that can get it done, as he said, he led BC to victories against Louisville, Syracuse, UConn in 2017. He started in the Pinstripe Bowl game, too.
Oh, what a dangerous pass right there, and it may still be enough for the first down and the catch by number 12, Bryson Denley. He caught in a lot of traffic, and that nearly could have been picked off. Instead, he gets 7, and on the first possession, Bowling Green into Morgan State territory. This is the defense that will face. It's a 3-4. The corners are good, but it's Kennedy and Ian McBurrows are the 2 tough guys out there. Out to Clare, can also catch and make people miss to the 40-yard line.
Jim, all the talk about running in Bowling Green, and don't get me wrong here, they're going to run the football, and that's what they want to do first. But that running, as you said, that play action off of that, the bootlegs with the quarterbacks, the nakeds, everything they can do off of it. They've got 2 guys in Andrew Clare and Bryson Denley who can catch it out of the backfield.
Clare comes out, and one of the backup running backs, 24, Davon Jones, carries. Close to the first down marker, and now officially given the first down go-ahead. Our referee tonight is Jeremy Valentine. We speak with him prior to the game. Keith Vanderchak is the umpire. Matt Banks, the headline judge. Line judge is Mike Lauenberg. Side judge Sam Banks. Field judge John Smith. Back judge is Devin Aller. Center judge Jason Gant. Up in the booth, Bill Luddy. And another carry by Davon Jones, who is a redshirt senior. One of the kids that stuck it out here, and you got to admire that because it's been some difficult times here. Well, actually, he stuck it out at Boston College.
Yeah, Jones is one of those guys, you know, you talk about the depth in that running back room with Andrew Clare and Bryson Denley. Now you add Jones in there that's 236 pounds and physical runner.
Wade able to make people miss and completes the pass inside the 20-yard line. Probably the reason this thing happened was that Wade was able to get and break contain. And on the pass, able to find 86, Tyrone Broden with a catch.
Nice job by Wade stepping up in the pocket. He felt the rush, kept his eyes down the field, and easy to find Quinton Morris at 6'4", 228 pounds. Just get it close to him and he can catch the football.
Yeah, check that. That was Morris on the catch. Once again, Jones the ball carrier. So it's been a steady diet right now of Jones and Andrew Clare. Jones is the running back, about 7 yards behind the quarterback. Gets the ball again. Cuts back in inside the 5. It'll be enough for a Bowling Green first down to be first and goal.
Jones is interesting. At Boston College, he had 13 games as a running back in 2016. 2017, he was a linebacker, 23 tackles. So you know he's physical when you can move him to the linebacker position.
Andrew Clare back in as the lone running back. Quarterback over center, Kramer. Clare on the carry toward the end zone. Touchdown! Under 4 minutes, Bowling Green strikes first.
Well, if you think and wonder how the season's going to go for Boston College, I think that's really a shot right there. You're going to get a snapshot of what this offense is all about. Pound the football, use Clare, use Denley to catch it out of the backfield, pound with Jones a little bit, and let Clare take it the rest of the way in.
Nate Needham for the extra point. 76-yard drive, 12 plays. Falcons 7. John Scott Loeffler, Bowling Green, a longtime quarterbacks coach. Well, now as a head coach, he's got to worry about everything, including special teams, which are on the field right now. And we asked him about that, and he said, you know, the only thing I knew about special teams prior to this job was field position and a guy that kicks an extra point or a field goal.
Yeah, didn't have to worry about those things. The previous offensive coordinator stints, 2016 through 18 at BC and Virginia Tech, 13 through 15 in Auburn back in 2012. But you're right. I think about him now as looking over these special teams as he gets a little bit older, a little bit grayer, a little bit more bald, I should say.
Yeah.
Then I think he's going to start looking at taking over the special teams, because that's the biggest worry of head coaches when they start to get through their career, is how are the special teams going to perform, because they're such a big factor in these ball games.
Jabril Johnson, 30, is deep to accept the kick from Nate Needham. Rule in college football still exists. You can call for a fair catch inside the 25-yard line to get position at the 25 without risking a run back. Not many new rules this year. We'll talk about blindsiding and also how targeting has been altered slightly. Hopefully we'll see neither of them tonight, John.
Don't need to see any of that. Just
No,
clean
sir.
football. Everybody play the second half and next week.
Cabral takes it and looks at in the end zone, and so Morgan State will start from its own 25. DJ Golat is the starting quarterback. John spoke of him at the beginning. DeAndre Harris is his backup, and I don't think Tyrone Wheatley, the head coach, is going to hesitate using Harris tonight, if in fact he has to.
Yeah, they split time last year. He gets full-time duties this year. DJ Golat right there as you look at his numbers. And this year, he played in 10 games last year, only 2 starts. It was DeAndre Harris, who we'll also see tonight, who led the team in passing last year. But Golat getting the nod this year after a great summer. They didn't have a chance to play in the spring, but he's earned it in fall camp.
Golat, by the way, they said he's got a cannon for an arm. Good tone, natural leader, vocal leader. And in high school, threw for 6,425 yards. His offense complemented by some pretty good receivers in White, Bailey, and Woolfolk. Keep an eye on your tight end, Xavier Gravette, who can also catch at the tight end spot and play a little wide receiver as well. After the 1-yard loss on the play, Morgan State not finding any running room up the middle, so it'll be 3rd and long distance. Bowling Green's defense has got to get better. David Konowalski heads that group up. He's one of the captains at the defensive end spot. He suffered through injuries, but he's healthy now, John, and he's back this year.
Yeah, and one of the things, he's got to keep those guys sturdy up front, because very thin at the linebacker position. Matter of fact, all 3 guys getting the start here. No stats last year, no tackles, and no starts.
Falcons rushing 4, and a pass completed over the middle on the slant, and it's good enough for a first down. It was a tough play, and Morgan State able to advance chains on the pass to the backup. Joanne Robinson off the catch from DJ Golat.
Not an easy catch. You get that ball thrown over the middle there. You got to go up and get it. One of those linebackers sitting there. I mentioned no stats. There was a couple of guys that played last year, has some stats, but no starts.
Now play action for Dion, who runs the football and is brought down, and he may have picked up a yard. Falcons defense last year, frankly, overmatched in a number of games. So as that continues to get shored up a little bit and to get play from people that they really need, this like Brandon Pierce, and a lot of help with the backups tonight, who will see a lot of activity, Falcons might be okay, but they've got games at Kansas State and also on top of that, they got to play in Notre Dame.
Yeah, Brandon Pierce, you saw him there, put together pretty well. Did not play in 2018. Came from a junior college, Rochester, 2017. He was second in the nation in tackles. So physical, and he's on the tackle again there, and a guy that can go sideline to the sideline, but he just has the look of a Mike linebacker.
That's Josh Chase, a redshirt senior. Last year carried for 514 yards, 13 MEAC. Well, he should get a lot of advice from his head coach, who starred in the NFL for years, and Tyrone Wheatley was a great running back at the University of Michigan. 3rd and 7 with 8:35 remaining first quarter. Bowling Green on a 77-yard drive with a 7-0 lead. Golot with times, got a receiver, broken up 45-yard line. Defended well by Jerry McBride, number 7, the senior, at 6'2", 205.
McBride did a really good job. Watch him defend this ball. He's got there. Watch him use that right hand to pull the right arm down of the receiver. If you can't get to the football, make sure you're yanking on that receiver's arm, and his timing was perfect there. Defended, and now they're going to get that defense off the field because of that play.
So after one first down, the Bears have to give up the ball. Nicholas O'Shea to punt. Fields the ball like a shortstop. Headed to Rogers, and a fair catch, and Bowling Green will start this drive inside its own 25. Back to business in a moment with the score 7-0. For the Falcon faithful, for the opener, $5 tickets available tonight, and a President's Barbecue. President Rodney Roberts, a fan of the football team, held a student tailgate outside the stadium. First 500 students, barbecue for free, John.
Yeah, you gotta love that. And Thursday night football, opening night. You know, these fans are sitting here wondering, okay, what is this team going to look like? They've got a really nice glimpse during that first drive. See if you can't put together back-to-back drives and get off to a great start this year and make these fans happy.
You know, the other thing is a solid offense like that, running with some time-killing ability, can also keep the defense off the field and hide some of your lack of talent, I suppose, for a way to put it.
Yeah, and I'd add kind of depth position. You know, it's kind of the depth that's really more than anything else that that can hurt you. So a lot of young guys on this football team. Almost half the roster has freshman eligibility. You're talking about 37 freshmen and 10 redshirt freshmen for this Bowling Green team.
Bowling Green was not a good running football team last year, hence the emphasis on running the ball and chewing up clock. On second down, Wade in trouble, dances out of some trouble, then overshoots the receiver. And a man wide open at the 35-yard line as Quentin Morris got able to break contain. Couldn't find him. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Defensive coordinator Antonio James that time sending Morgan State. Had a safety blitz, it looked like that time. Darius Wade back there with some happy feet. It's been a while, so he's got to calm down in the pocket there. He did a nice job stepping up earlier in the previous drive. Get nice calm feet there and then hit your receiver. Quentin Morris was open late that time. He just missed him.
Grant Loy is his backup. We'll likely see him tonight as well. Wade with plenty of time. Throws a strike to the 40-yard line. First down from the 25 up to the 43. Pickup of 18 yards. Jordan Wayne Prather, one of his targets tonight with a catch.
And another guy last year with some experience, and watch him step up in the pocket here. Not happy feet, wide open, just a dig route across the middle, and Jordan Wayne Prather wide open, nice hands, catches it softly.
Wade back to play action on the rollout. Catch near the first down marker, back into Morgan State territory. That's Austin Doris. He's the Indiana University transfer. Played at IU and actually transferred in January. And when he made word of the fact, John, he was heading to Bowling Green, his Twitter said, let's go to work.
Yeah, let's do it. You know what? Only 4 catches in 2018 for him. He's already got 1. Things look good on that transfer.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to the running game and Jones. And again with a team that last year ran the football for only 116 yards a game. This is a major point of emphasis. Scoring offense slightly under 100 of the 140 FBS teams. 2nd and 5. Bowling Green leading 7-0. Wade again with plenty of time. He has overshot a couple of his receivers, John. Any reason for it?
Yeah, just early season, timing things up in a game situation. Sometimes guys, not always the quarterback's fault. Ex-quarterback, I can say that, right? It's always the other guy's fault.
Of course.
But,
here we go.
But sometimes they'll cut the routes off a little bit faster than what they do in practice. So you got to get used to that game speed too. Everything happens a little bit faster on game day.
And I know every receiver is always open on every play, right?
They're always open. They're going to tell you that when they come back to the huddle, that's for sure.
3rd down, Wade looked one way through the other. And it's 4th down now, Bowling Green likely in a punting situation. So a good defensive sequence, and probably aided by the fact that Wade had a little trouble connecting with some of his receivers.
Yeah, interesting what Bowling Green decided to do that time. It was run, pound the football, do some play action. It seemed like that time, okay, we had some luck. Now let's try to open it up a little bit, throw the ball, some more drop back stuff. They were able to move it and get the field position, so they won the battle in field position, although they didn't put any points on the board during that drive.
Short punt here, landing at around the 20. Of course, an opportunity there if it hits a man to wind up in the hands of Bowling Green. That's always the danger of that, and the ball with a great bounce goes out of bounds at the 1. How about that? A 42-yard punt, no return. Good coverage by number 3, Brown. Evan Brown got in great position and hustled his way all the way down to the 1 and was able to get it before he got to the pylon.
Wow, good special team play there. You just wondered, did that ball hit off somebody's leg and shoot down there? It looked like they were trying to recover it, thinking it did, but nice job getting it as it goes out of bounds. Remember the field position we talked about winning? Get a couple first downs, move the chains, and put your defense in a good situation. That's what they did here.
And now there's going to be an overrule on a situation by the referee, Jerry Valentine, as the ball now actually would come out to the 15-yard line. Perhaps the ball had actually gone out of bounds there, but unless we see replay, won't be able to confirm.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, did it hit the player right there in the back of the leg? I mean, the way that ball reacted, you would almost think that it had to hit the back of the leg.
That would make it a dead ball situation if it hit one of the Bowling Green players. So instead of the 1, it's the 15. DJ Golot, starting quarterback, over center. Chase is going to be his principal runner tonight. Josh, number 24. Mom's a counselor, that's Bridget. Dad, Virgil, mechanic. Said he wants to play in the NFL, but if that doesn't work out, he wants to be an athletic director.
Well, he's been a dependable guy for this football team. Got a penalty here. Nice job up front, opening the hole up there to give him some running room, and filled pretty quickly by the defensive back for this Bowling Green team. Filling the hole. You're a safety like Jerry McBride. He's a guy that likes to get involved in the run game up there and can do very well on the pass side of things. But when you have those safeties that can come up and light you up, that really helps against the run.
With the penalty on the situation, half the distance to the goal line. It'll be 1st and 18 now from the 7 of Morgan State. The Bears trailing the Falcons 7-0 in the opening quarter. We played roughly 9 minutes so far. Things going as you might have anticipated.
Yeah, I think so. And when you look at that formation that Morgan State just ran out of, the true I formation, when was the last time you really saw a traditional pro-style I? It's back there. You got a fullback and the tailback behind him. That reminds me of the days. You got some good play action plays that you can do off of that, but you've got to be able to run to the football, and with that you get the fullback and that blocker up front.
Already the influence of Tyrone Wheatley. Safe pass out to the flat, but look at the way Falcons cover it. Another penalty on the play, back in the backfield of Morgan State.
Yeah, they're going to get a roughing the passer here. Ball was out of the hands, and one of the players for Bowling Green, I'm not sure exactly who it was. It may have been Bozeman there or Nunn Liddell.
They're fouled by both teams on the play. Into the formation, 5 players in the backfield. Offense, personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 28. Those penalties offset. Second down.
It's a break for the Bowling Green secondary, as be indicated by Jeremy Valentine. our head referee tonight. The plays or the penalties offset, so we're back to a 2nd down and 15 situation and back to a running clock with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Beautiful night for college football. The calendar just about to flip to the month of September on Sunday.
Love it. Football season's here. Got a great night too for a first start. Usually it's really warm on that first ball game. Really couldn't get a better night to start the season.
81 degrees, John, at kickoff here at Deutsch Perry Stadium, which has been open for business more than 50 years now. Morgan in the white, Bowling Green in the brown uniforms. 3rd and 9 from 1st and 18. Bears elect to run the football, maybe got a yard, but will give up the ball there. And that's a curious call, John, even though they were able to gain about 10 yards back from the penalty.
Now, one of the things you don't want to do, though, is make a mistake, and you can consider this early. Of course, it's in this first quarter here. Don't want to turn the football over. Again, field position. Try to win that battle and get some of those yards back, and that's what you're getting right there. So punt it away and see if your defense can hold them one more time.
Second punt of the game for Nicholas O'Shea, number 46. Jake Rogers is at midfield for Bowling Green. Good snap, ball away. Rogers calling for a fair catch, 45-yard line. Great field position for this Bowling Green drive that will start in a moment. 3.5 for the first quarter, 7-0. Up in New York State, Buffalo 14, Robert Morris nothing. Cincinnati tonight, Bearcats leading the Bruins 7-0. Hey, John, how about camp for Scott Leffler? I understand it was a real treat, real holiday, a lot of vacationing going on. Not exactly.
Day in the park, right? He wants consistency with this football team. Consistency, effort, and play winning football. And you want to have complementary football. That means offense, defense, and the special team side of things. He did some unique things to get this team ready for this football season, including putting yellow jerseys on guys that he felt like weren't participating in practice like they should be, giving that extra effort. And the only way you were going to get rid of that yellow jersey was by earning the ability to get it off, and that means practicing hard and being consistent all the time.
I think you asked him during our conference call during the week, how long did those yellow jerseys stay on? He said, well, not very long.
Not very long, you know.
Offense number 63. Taking a penalty, first down.
Holding penalty on Bowling Green. 63 is Sam Neveroff, the starting left guard. This drive was to start at the Morgan State 45. A 5-yard penalty was tacked on after the punt, and now the penalty sends Bowling Green back to midfield. Leading in this game 7-0. Now on a 1st and 20. Little end around activity. We've got a bevy of running backs today, and we're going to see all 3 of them. In fact, so far we have already seen Andrew Clare and Davon Jones, and that's Bryson Denley carrying the football.
And, you know, we talk about the physicalness of Andrew Clare. Bryson Denley, not a big guy, 5'10", 173 pounds. Of course, he's known for his speed. He's a 10'6", 100 guy, but he is physical. He's not going to run out of bounds either. I saw him last year run over a couple guys that were playing linebacker, so he's a physical guy for not being that big.
Got 12 on the play. Wade forced out of the pocket. Now running the football. Down the sidelines, picks up the first down. One thing Darius Wade brings from Boston College is escapability. And let's talk about devotion to this guy. He was out of football, decided he got healthy, called up Scott Leffler, his former coach at BC. Scott said, come on over to Bowling Green. He jumped in a car and went 11 hours to get here.
Yeah, and why not, too? You get a guy with a lot of experience there. He's 95 for 171, 56% completion.
Here's Andrew Clare trying to make his way to the end zone. Still on his feet. And they're going to mark him out of bounds at the 1-yard line on a carry of 23 for the star running back of the Falcons.
His ability to break tackles, find the open spaces, and get through Clare. No wonder why he's averaging 5.9 yards a rush over his career.
Trying to make it 13-0. Clare again the ball carrier. This time stood up and was dropped for a loss. Maybe a couple. So they tried to steamroll that one right into the middle of the football field, and there wasn't anything available.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of Tom Brady and get up to the line of scrimmage quick and get inside that 5-yard line. Wouldn't surprise me if they start doing some quarterback sneaks. History between Scott Loeffler and Tom Brady and those guys too. That stuff we'll talk about, and it's just unique. All of the players that you get touched by in your life and your coaching career, and Tom Brady was one of them.
Substitution, 12 players on the field. Defense, half a distance to the goal, still second down.
Loeffler, the head coach of Bowling Green, was telling us about his relationship with Tom Brady is that, Brady's got this maniacal approach to perfection, but he also feels that he offered some things in Brady's career that have helped him as well at the quarterback spot, and it's been kind of a hand-me-down situation with all the quarterbacks passing along to each other what they know with great experience at Michigan. 2nd and goal. Wade on the rollout. In trouble's got a man wide open. Little misdirection for the quarterback spot. That's a score. Morris with a catch. And there's going to be a penalty flag after the play on Morgan State. Well, Q thought there was extracurricular activity, but he gets a score. That's what matters.
Q with the touchdown pass and a great play call here. You get everybody thinking you're going to go left, and then you move Quinton Morris, a big body, to come across the field on a long throw, and an accurate throw by the quarterback. Just takes time. I think they're going to get Quinton Morris too with a penalty after this, because he chased down the guy that pushed him down and
also pointed at him as well.
He probably should have just went right back to the sideline and celebrated with his teammate. Here's a nice throw. Got hit late there, he knew it. You know what? You score a touchdown, just go back to the sideline, celebrate with your team. And look at this long developing play and a nice throw back to the backside, and you have to be patient as a quarterback there and let your guy get all the way across the field. Nice job.
Ian McBurrow got the hit. He's one of the key defensive people.
It's over. Good ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 5, Morgan State. And number 80 for Bowling Green. This penalty is offset. It is the first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for both players in this game. Try for point.
Well, and really unnecessary when you think about it for Quinton Morris. He got the touchdown. Yeah, he got bumped and got hit pretty hard after the play. And sometimes it's hard to let it go, but he got to, because otherwise you'd have picked up a free 15 yards.
Yeah, exactly. And he'll get a talking to about that, because that's all about some of the things that Coach Loeffler was talking about. And we'll talk more about that as the or no talent issues. That doesn't have anything to do with how good of talent you have. It's about making the mistakes regardless of your talent.
The extra point attempted by Nate Needham, John, is no good. So it remains 13-0. Quinton Morris on the receiving end of the second touchdown of the first quarter of the new season for the Falcons. Tyrone Wheatley's team going to need to establish some continuity on offense and try to move the football for a period of time. But this was I call this a quarterback misdirection.
Yeah, it is, and it's a well-designed play. I love this. You roll the lefty to the left side, and he's looking all the way to the left side, knowing that you're just going to have one guy sneaking back to the right, and you just have to be patient and make sure you don't overthrow a guy that's wide open, and it was a really good throw by Darius Wade.
Well, after Morris got a talking to, so did one of the Morgan State players as well, Burrows. So now everything's square. Motions obviously are going to be pretty high, because this is the first time got a chance to hit somebody other than a member of your team.
Yeah. Where we were saying Scott Loeffler talked about the no talent issues. It was interesting, because when he first said it, I was thinking, is he saying his team doesn't have talent? And that's not what it means at all. It means you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're jumping off sides prior to the snap and costing your team, it doesn't matter how much talent you have. So he said, we have to win those issues, and the no talent issue is that we're not going to jump off sides, we're not going to make those mistakes, and we're going to play good, sound football.
And if you've watched Falcon football over the last 3 years, with just 9 wins in those 3 years, you know there isn't much margin for error. Loeffler agrees with that. Jarrell Johnson's going to bring it back about 3 yards in the end zone and returns it near the 20-yard line. So a gutsy move from Johnson, who decided to return it and probably got close to 20 yards on the return. Dorian Hamilton up to meet him on special teams for the Falcons. So Morgan State back with the football with $1:27 remaining in the opening quarter, and already in a 2-touchdown hold. DJ Galat hasn't had a chance to throw the ball much, and the running game has been pretty much stymied, at least toward the beginning. They'll try to run down to the near side of the field. In the game so far, Bowling Green with 157 total yards, and Morgan State has managed just 29. Bears are on the plane back after the game, charter flight. Always good to see teams getting an opportunity to get back to school, back to class as early as possible. Play action for Dion, now in trouble, now eating the football and dragged down at the 24-yard line. Got a pickup of 5. It'll be 3rd down and manageable for Morgan State, and Golad's got the ability to keep the football, tuck it under, nobody available, run.
We mentioned dual threat for him at the top of the show, his ability to throw it down the field. We haven't had a good opportunity to see him let it go yet, but you see his running ability. It looked like to me come up limping a little bit prior to him getting tackled on that play. Let's hope he's okay.
DeAndre Harris is his backup, so we could see Harris before this half ends. Here comes the blitz from the opposite side. They get it. At least one unblocked man. Pierce was pressuring and he got some help.
It's Melvin Jackson, the cornerback, coming off the edge. Mostly a special teams player last year, a couple tackles versus Oregon, but right now he comes off the edge and gets the big sack, and Bowling Green's defense getting off the field again.
The way you design it for the Falcons, they already have a 2-score lead as we start.
They're going.
Welcome back to Dwight Perry Stadium on the campus of Bowling Green University. It's the Labor Day weekend. So Bowling Green decided to play a game on Thursday night, catch some of those students, John, that might be heading out at the end of the evening or sometime on Friday. Of course, as always, and I know you would say this, we encourage students to attend their Friday classes.
Absolutely.
But doesn't always happen.
Oh, you don't schedule them on Friday anyway, do you?
I didn't schedule many. Once again, Nicholas O'Shea, punt formation, this time from his own end zone. Bowling Green continues to get great field position to start a drive. Rogers with a catch, and he got hammered at the 40-yard line, but short field to work with again for Bowling Green. Fame back in 1995. Jim Barber with you tonight on ESPN. The wind has been a factor. John, when you showed up in your limo today and stepped outside for the first time, you noticed that might be a factor, and already Scott Left was used to his advantage.
Yeah, you know, we talked about special teams. How would he react? Well, that's his first really good timeout. He called it with 7 seconds to go, forced Morgan State to punt into that wind, and because of that, really good field position.
Darius Ware, the starting Wade, the starting quarterback, and that one is complete for a couple of yards. 2nd and 8. Quentin Morris, 3rd catch of the game. One has already been for a score. He's a hybrid out there, where that means he can play wide out, he can play tight end, and he's out there to create mismatches. Back to the running game. First quarter numbers, as you might imagine, John, pretty lopsided, with Morgan State able to run just 12 plays for 22 yards and Bowling Green with 24 offensive plays for 157.
Boy, Quentin Morris, when they moved him to that tight end position, they almost had to rename the position, because I don't know how happy he was about going from wide receiver to kind of a slash tight end, but as much as he's going to touch the football in this type of an offense as a hybrid guy, I think he's going to be smiling a lot.
Wouldn't you think?
Offense, number 83, 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Wouldn't you think, John, that makes him more attractive to the NFL
Sure
to be able to play more in one spot?
Yeah, because you're a guy that's 228 pounds and could probably play at 240 pounds. He's got such soft hands and a big body there. you find many ways to use him like they have already. Crossing the field as a tight end, you can hide behind people. That's a good thing.
Off the blitz, they set up the screen. Another penalty flag on the play as the quarterback gets decked. And that could be a foul on Morgan State, which ordinarily would have held serve here. 3 downs and potentially out. But let's see. Jeremy Valentine.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 12. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the pitch. Automatic first down.
It's on Cameron Chesley, number 12. And because of that, that prolongs the drive, gives Bowling Green a first down.
Wow, and what a nice play by Carl Garnes, too. Number 2, the free safety who came up, or listed at the cornerback position here, but came up, recognized the screenplay, and was able to.
Result of the play ended behind the line of scrimmage. The penalty being forced from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That really hurts there because guards made a great play coming up and recognizing that screen.
4th penalty of the game on the Bears. More importantly, moves the football inside the 30. Tyrone Wheatley won't stand for that. Trying to build a lot of character with this team, and it's going to take some time. Wade on first down, looking down the middle of the field's got a man inside the 15-yard line. He just throws a good football. Ortega Jones on the reception.
It's a great sign for Bowling Green. Ortega Jones is one of the guys that had a great camp they were talking about, and they expect him to have a really good year after redshirting. Plays that X receiver for these guys. Redshirted last year in 2018, but his camp that he had, it proved that he's earned the starting chance for this football team this year.
Well, speaking of Jones, he's big, he's fast, and his coach says he's smooth and has these fabulous hands. What more do you want in a receiver, huh? 2nd and 7. Falcons on the move, trying to get their 3rd touchdown. And Claire tripped up, lost the football. Bears have got it. Let's see.
I think they're going to call him down by contact on the ground.
Too bad for Morgan State. A good open field tackle there. And that dropped Claire and the football.
Watch Claire try to leap him here at the end, and then he lands on his back, and elbow came down, then the ball came out.
Now 3rd and short. Darius on the roll. He's got a man wide open. Well, you can hear some of the coaches pounding one of the offices up here because Jordan Wayne Prather was as open as he could be, and that would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, one of the things when you're rolling to the left side, left-handed quarterback, or to the right when you're a right-handed quarterback, sometimes that ball will get away from you toward the sideline, and he's rolling to the left, and there it is. It just kind of, you drop a little bit down, kind of a sidearm throw out there, and the ball kind of tails on you, and that's what happened.
So that brings down the field goal team. Nate Needham with a short attempt from 25 yards out. Falcons now leading 16-0. Just 2.5 minutes into the 2nd quarter. Let's update some scores. Cincinnati leading UCLA 7-0. 4 minutes in the 2nd quarter. UConn leading Wagner 7-0 2nd quarter. Buffalo has put 3 scores on in the first half, leading Robert Morris 21-7. Western Kentucky leading Central Arkansas, and UCF leading Florida A&M, the Rattlers, both by scores of 7-0. So you're Scott Leffler. You've seen more than a quarter. Positive?
Oh, yeah. I think a great start. They haven't made the mental mistakes and jumping off sides and doing the little things I think that he was looking for. So offensively, there's always going to be stuff to work on, but I think he's got to be happy right now.
Tyrone Wheatley on the other side. Starred for a number of years in Michigan, one of the greatest running backs for the Michigan Wolverines. Consider the talent they've had over the year at the quarterback spot, but the running back has not been scarce either.
No.
And he spent a number of great years, drafted in the 1st round by the Giants, then on to the Oakland Raiders, proving his worth in the National Football League.
I asked him about when he got the itch to be a head guy, and he said, you know what, I've always been a track guy. When I was at Michigan, I was a track guy, and I wanted to be a track coach, and he was. And he went back, started off his career as a track coach, took a high school job as a head coach, and that's when he realized how everybody buys in, and that's when he said, I got the itch to do that, and he's earned that opportunity now.
Jabrell on the catch at the 15. His return is short-lived. Might have got 5 on the play. Football not even up to the 20. Actually, they'll spot it at the 20. as Hampton comes up and does his job on special teams. Well, this is an area that Scott Loeffler says he's going to get mightily involved in. I think he'd be pretty pleased with that.
Yes. It is so funny, and you were talking to him about that, and the way he said that, I'm going to get more involved. He said, I am in the film room. He was almost excited about really learning about special teams. He said, I have no clue. I had no clue what was going on.
Like a new class in college, you know. Torian Hampton with a nice hit there, and off the field likely to get some congratulations. This drive starts from a standard 20-yard line. And can Morgan State get some push up front, John, to establish any type of running game?
Well, right now the defensive line for this Bowling Green defense is doing a tremendous job, and not a whole lot of bodies there, pretty thin, so they want to do a good job, get off the field as quick as possible and not be in there for the number of plays they had to play last year. This team was really good for the first few quarters last year, first, second quarter, even into the third, but the fourth quarter is when things started to get away from them.
Yeah, just didn't have enough firepower, not enough depth, and certainly still lacking on the talent front too. And that's not a disparity or to despair the players that are here. Just a matter of fact that they're going to have to rebuild that area to become competitive.
Well, think about this. In the offseason, the defense lost 3 cornerbacks and their leading tackler to graduation. They lost both of their defensive ends that decided to transfer. So what do you have to do? You got to fill them somehow. And we mentioned there's a lot of freshmen out there in bodies, but got to keep it simple for them right now, and that's what they're doing. Pretty much a base defense.
Over the middle, trying to pick up the first down, but a good open field tackle prevents that. One of the things you're seeing from Bowling Green is its ability right now to tackle in space, and 33 Roberts was out there to prevent a first down, and that leads us to another Morgan State punt.
Little wins for Bowling Green defensively, getting off the field, not allowing those long drives, getting over there, getting plenty of rest. That's the goal of this football team coming into this game.
Last 2 drives for Ball State have started inside Morgan State territory at the 40 and at the 43. Let's see if O'Shea can get a punt that will pin them back a little further. This time with the win and carries nicely. Rogers makes a man miss and out of bounds just past the 30-yard line. We'll talk the Mid-American Conference in our conversation with John Steinbrecher when we come back here on ESPN with a score 16-0 Falcons. Rodney Rogers is the president of Bowling Green University. We mentioned he had a barbecue prior to the game for more than 500 students. That's a look at the Falcon right there. And even though it's not the largest crowd that you'll see here at Deutsch Perry Stadium, it has been certainly a festive one. And there's the president right there. Not only leading the cheers, but maybe leading the singing as well.
You love to see that. He actually came by practice during camp this year too, spoke with the team, really getting involved.
Bowling Green with the football in the brown uniforms with 183 to 30 for Morgan State in total yardage and a 3-score lead in this game. I mentioned prior to the break, John, we talked with Commissioner John Steinbrecher before the game. He was talking about the league in general, that it'll be competitive, maybe not a quarterback league, except maybe for Mr. O'Rourke, who leads Ohio this year.
Yeah, you know, everything transitions through the years. Sometimes it's a quarterback lead. I think this league this year is going to be made up of some really good running backs when you look around. So, and starting with this Bowling Green team tonight.
Wade has to get rid of it and does so at the last minute for a completed pass up to the 35-yard line. Doris with his second catch, the transfer from Bloomington, Indiana. Another thing John said, he's got his eyes on Kent State tonight in the desert against Arizona State with the temperatures already in 3 digits.
Yeah, a little warm out there today, but I think Kent State's going to give them a little tough task to do. Go out there on the road, very difficult to go and do that, but Kent State is a team that's getting better and better with their coaching staff, and they've got a really dynamic quarterback too.
Morgan State showing blitz. They rush 4, drop 7. That's close to the first down marker. In fact, it's right at the pin, and now the question is, what will the spot be? Will it be good enough for a Bowling Green first down on a catch that probably got about 6 or 7 yards? Not necessarily enough for the first down, but in fact, Julian Ortega-Jones does have enough for the first. Football at the 42 of the Falcons, who have been in complete control from the beginning. When they marched 77 yards, 13 plays for a touchdown. there is little question that running back is the key position and the strongest position on this team, led by number 1 Andrew Clare, who now is down to 1 foot.
Yeah.
Or 1 shoe. 1 foot would be something.
Boy, 1 shoe. That's the last thing you want to have happen to you when you're a running back. You want that football right now during this drive here. You don't want to come off the field for 1 play.
Nope. Like a wide receiver, you don't want to give it up, and that's a first down and a burst. Devon Jones carrying all the way down to the 42-yard line. Pickup of 10, and with 8:45 remaining in the first half, here comes Bowling Green again.
How about Jones? We talk about his strength and the size of him. He looked pretty quick getting through the hole.
Halftime Heisman candidates. Laura Rutledge of ESPN will bring us up to speed on that. Sending a man in motion. Wade to throw on first down. Little safety valve pass. Jones with a catch and run and many yards after the catch to the 29 and a pickup of 13, and he is pretty shifty out there.
He told the defender too, don't go after my knees like that and make me jump up. And how about that athletic ability? Linebacker, running back with good speed, now with soft hands catching the ball out of the backfield. Bowling Green sent everybody deep that time, and I think that was a design play to just drop it off to him.
UCLA just scored on a 75-yard touchdown pass, trailing Cincinnati early second quarter, 10-7. Big matchup at Nippert Stadium. That's a familiar haunt for you and I going back many years to the Herb Street Classic.
Wow. 16 years ago.
Yeah, 4 high school football games in a day. 2nd and 10. Darius Wade starting quarterback. A lot of room out in the front. But after the catch, no room to run. Ortega Jones got clotheslined at the 27. A modest pickup of a couple. Do you think there was a penalty on the play?
Tough to say. I mean, he had him up around the shoulder pads as far as grabbing, but I don't think he locked onto the back, and the officials didn't see that either. But Carl Garnes, who came up and made a good play earlier today, was looking at the student section over there saying, no, not me. You're not going to get by me. And they were booing him over there.
Officially a gain of 2, 3rd and 8. Morgan State has shown blitz on 3rd down, but instead, Wade finds an open receiver. Touchdown, Quentin Morris, 2nd in the game.
Look at Morris. He's running over to the bench as quick as he can now, saying, I am not going to get another flag on me. Let me go celebrate with my teammates here. Good job on his part. Looked like Morgan State actually vacated that area and left him wide open across the middle. Good patience by quarterback Darius Wade. He finds his big receiver and he just walks into the end zone for the touchdown.
Nate Needham for the extra point. Falcons with just 9 wins over the last 3 years, overmatching Morgan State for the MEAC, leading 23-0. Big night so far for number 80, the hybrid. The way things are going tonight for Bowling Green, the guard is going to be very busy. But you know what? They're in great physical condition, so don't worry, folks. Scott Loeffler was telling us earlier in the week he doesn't sleep well before games. Didn't do that at Michigan or any of the other stops. He said usually what happens is I go to sleep for a little bit and I'm up the rest of the night.
Yeah.
So I wonder after this performance, if it continues, if he might rest a little easier.
Yeah, I remember what Lou Holtz said. He said he used to sleep like a baby, right? Wake up every 2 hours and cry.
Yeah.
The life of a head coach.
Mm-hmm. Jabril Johnson is deep. Nate Needham, who has a field goal, a couple of extra points to kick. High end over end's got to be fielded. It is at the 20. And a nice return past the 35-yard line. It's not an easy catch in traffic, but a good return. By the way, tonight, Bowling Green with 124 yards rushing and 127 passing. You cannot get any better balance than that.
No, pretty nice. If you take a look at that drive, they are scoring summary, 9 plays, 68 yards, 327. Quentin Morris with the touchdown. And for Morgan State, it's go time now. They're going to have to put some type of points on the board, I think, or at least sustain some drive and give their defense a rest.
Jabril Johnson running right tackle, nothing there. This is perhaps its best field position tonight for Morgan State. One of the other problems, working against the wind, had a couple of punts that landed in short fields for Bowling Green that were converted into points. How about Dino's play tonight at quarterback?
Well, I think it's tough to gauge that right now. Not a whole lot of opportunities for him to be able to do anything down the field. Never been really in a situation where he can convert.
Oh my gosh. Football available for Bowling Green. They may have it. DJ Golat never saw it coming. And Bowling Green recovers the football inside the 25. And the blitz set by defensive coordinator Brian Van Gorder worked to a charm. There is a flag on the play, and we'll see what that's all about. But Dion Golat, the starting quarterback, didn't have a prayer on that play.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who it was that actually, I don't know if it was Colby Coleman or who that was that came in there trying to be a bootleg, and
not pick up what Jeremy is saying right here. It is a first down. It is Bowling Green football.
yeah, tough to say, but again, nowhere to go with the football at all. And as a quarterback, you run that bootleg and you fake it, and you have to get your head around quickly to try to find out where that defender is. You get your head around, somebody's right in your face there, and nowhere to go with the football. And a big turnover for Bowling Green now, and again in great field position.
Which will be marked 15 yards back to the 39 of Morgan State instead of the 24-yard line after the recovery. So Coleman with the recovery, and the blitz makes it happen. Think about all the experience that Brian Van Gorder has as the D coordinator and Terry Malone as the offensive coordinator. The things these guys have seen.
Well, you're talking about a staff that's coached for 150 years combined when you look at all of the years and experience that this team has.
Couple of broken tackles. That could be a score. Awfully close inside the 5-yard line. Ortega Jones on the catch and run from the 39 down to the 4 to pick up a 35, and a lot of broken tackles.
Yeah, Ortega Jones, we said earlier today that his coaches have said that he's got as much talent as anybody on this football team and has developed as fast as anybody.
Back to Andrew Clare, straight ahead. And Clare marked down at the 1 with a pickup at 3. So this obviously is an overmatched opponent, but from Bowling Green's standpoint, what do you pick up that may matter as we get into week 2?
Hey, just a bunch of confidence. You know, that's what you want. You want to get a game down on film, and then you make that improvement between the first week and the second week. But Scott Loeffler, I think, has to be pretty happy with what his team's doing now. Not just are they scoring enough points, but they're not making crazy mistakes.
Fourth touchdown of the night for Bowling Green. Jones with a score. Rough night for Morgan State, and this drive set up by the blitz. The recovered fumble by Coleman, and now the score by 24 Jones.
Yeah, Jones, 235 pounds. Makes initial contact there and gets the feet driving and walks it into the end zone.
Well, if you're a Falcon fan, you got to be pretty happy with what you've seen. 30 points in less than 30 minutes. We are back, opening night college football. Jim Barber, John Gregory. Week number 2, John heads to the Ville, Louisville, Eastern Kentucky, and the Ville has a monster of an opener with Notre Dame Monday night on ABC. 3-play, 24-yard drive set up by the defense as Jones gets the touchdown. 3 separate Bowling Green players have scored tonight for the Falcons. Excited about going to Louisville? It's always a great place for football.
It's a fun place to go. And that place can get pretty loud too. And if they have a really good showing against Notre Dame, just a rebuild there. You talk about the rebuild here at Bowling Green. It's going to be a rebuild at Louisville. New head coaches in there trying to set the tone.
Scott Satterfield taking over for Bobby Petrino, who was fired. And what a way to open up a new regime Jabrell Johnson was the deep man to return, and he's got it inside the 20. Well, coming into this camp, Scott Loeffler may not have known much about special teams. We're starting to see the same numbers out there making tackles, and I think that that might please him.
Yep, and you see the same guys on special teams that are starting in the ball game at other positions there too. You know you have a good team when you have your starters that are wanting to play on the special teams.
Scott became the head coach on February 21st. First head coaching job, ditto for Tyrone Wheatley of Morgan State. Loeffler, with all that great experience at the University of Michigan, was asking him about Lloyd Carr, whom he coached and played under. Lloyd has the only Michigan national championship. And he said, you know, his point of emphasis was, we don't cheat here. We play clean. We're Michigan. We do it the right way. And a real gentleman. Carr, now retired. Big history buff, big fan of the Civil War. I remember chatting with him about Gettysburg over the years. Carr might have a vested interest in tonight's game because of both Wheatley and Loeffler on opposite sidelines.
And we mentioned the places that Loeffler has been in his career, and some of the head coaches that he's been around, he's taken a little piece from every one of them and tried to bring that into his coaching style. But when you come somewhere, and one of the things that the coaches will say, you got to be your own guy, right? You can't be somebody else, but you can take pieces from all over the country and bring them right here to Bowling Green.
Morgan State has converted on third down just once. And that continues. Caleb Biggers back there defending at his corner position. Backed up by David Wilson tonight. And it is once again 3 and out for Morgan State. And that's one of the things I think that Brian Van Gorder can take from this defensive effort tonight. Numerous 3 and out situations.
Yeah, and that's a guy, Caleb Biggers, who played some free safety last year. Started in 4 games, but a guy that you can move around to the cornerback position. So they're still trying to find out, you know, who's going to be the guy in the right spot. And this is a perfect opportunity to do this with opening night.
Rodgers lets it go, and the ball will do just that. Down at the 16-yard line. That was a gorgeous punt of 55 and no return. So 4.5 remaining in the first half. Morgan State back with the football. Down 30 points, 13 in the first quarter for the Falcons, and 2 touchdowns and a field goal in the second. Tyrone Wheatley rebuilding from a team that won 4 games last year but shocked the world in FCS play by beating North Carolina A&T when A&T was ranked 4th in the country.
Yeah. You know, this team is behind the 8 ball a little bit too, because they did not get to participate in spring ball, and because of that you lose, like, I mean, all that practice time and not having the ability to do that, or the extension of your season because you're playing in the playoffs. I mean, you lose a lot of practice time there, and that really hurts.
Did not hit the magic number of APR of 930, and so that was the second violation of the school in 3 years. That penalty was assessed last year for the upcoming camp, and that's a good point that a lot of times is not established. The fact that you lose all those dates and all that preparation time, and now you got to start camp in the summer and fall when the season is impending.
Yeah, and you think about it, a new offense, new coach coming in. They tried to keep terminology and a lot of things they could the same, because you got to play with the same players out there, and you don't want to really screw things up when you're not going to have a spring. So been very difficult for them.
Bryson Densley now the ball carrier up to the 23-yard line. Again, a lot of the Falcons will get a chance to play tonight, as all 3 running backs, Denley, excuse me, will be active this evening and have already been active as well. Matt McDonald is dressed tonight, is not eligible to play. Hopes to be in a major role as a quarterback this year, and the NCAA still has to approve his eligibility. Oregon State, good defense there. That's going to be a 3 and out, and that's a good sign for the Bears, who have needed something good to happen.
Yeah, you keep them off the board, maybe one more score, and if you can find a way to get down there and get on the board before the half, that would be a bonus. But you're right, holding them there is a win for this football team in this first half.
So a rare instance right now for Bowling Green to have to punt the football. Matt Naranjo, just his second punt of the night. His last one for 28 yards, but it was a punt that landed inside the 20-yard line. Wesley Woolfolk, 83. But off the short punt, great field position for the Bears, certainly their best of the night. And the spot is going to be at the 35-yard line. So Scott Loeffler starting to get acclimated with special teams. Not thrilled about that.
Remember I said gray hair or balding? Yeah, you start to pull your hair out. That's what caused the balding when you're on special teams and things don't go your way. But there was the big stop that Morgan State had. We said, you know, could you get field position maybe and find a way to score before the end of this first half?
Because of the illegal procedure, 5 yards tacked on to the end of the kick. So now just 30 yards away from their first score of the Bears. Let's see if they get in the end zone before the first half concludes. 2:43 remaining. Again, we'll look at Heisman candidates at the break. Bowling Green loads the box, man coverage on the outside. Incomplete, but there's going to be some pass interference coming up against Bowling Green. So college football doesn't have a spot foul, but it will be a 15-yard walk-off, which will bring the ball close to it since it's inside the 20. Got the matchup they wanted. There was a lot of pushing and shoving going on right there, and now the violation.
Nunn Lydell, the cover guy on that, pushing off. You can see the official right there in front of him throwing the flag. And I like Morgan State's aggressiveness, getting that one-on-one on the outside and trying to get that touchdown before this half ends.
Ball intended for Bailey on that play. He was able to pick up the pass interference call. Now Morgan State with an opportunity to get its first points.
And it'll be interesting to see, again, how Bowling Green reacts to this. This is their first adversity that they've had to face in this football game. You know, you start thinking you want to finish, and you talk about finishing games. You have to finish the first half too, and to get off the board here, maybe with just giving up 3 could be a win for them, but that's something they'll talk about at halftime.
So 2nd and 5 as we wind down to 2 minutes in the first half. Running in the trenches today, almost impossible for Morgan State. Pierce up to make the tackle for the secondary, and he has solidified that defensive front, which has not allowed much room.
Well, we said he's put together and looks like a linebacker. Been all over the field today for Bowling Green.
Now 3rd and 5, under 2 remaining first half. Dino DJ Zalat, the quarterback. Back to pass to the end zone, and that ball is incomplete. Would have been enough for the first down. Trying to spot the receiver inside the 5-yard line. Ball was dropped anyway. Intended for Xavier Gravett, the tight end, and that leaves them now with a 4th down, and they're going to settle for a field goal attempt to try to at least get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Gravett, one of the guys that's preseason first team. Usually pretty good-handed. Would have came up with that. Would have moved the chains and given an opportunity to keep for a chance for a touchdown here.
Nicholas O'Shea for field goal. Spotted the 17, a 27-yard kick. And Morgan State's got points. So with a $1:24 remaining in the first half, Morgan State will not go home without a score. While Tyrone Wheatley was looking for 6 instead of 3. Maybe something to build on.
Yeah, well, their defense did what they needed to do to give their offense the ball one more time, and a couple opportunities to get on the board in the end zone, not able to do it, but I think a positive, getting those 3 points on the board here, something that they can build on now too, and give Bowling Green something to talk about and how they handled kind of a adverse situation there, having the ball in their red zone for the first time.
Falcons have Kansas State and Notre Dame coming up in non-conference play. You ask Scott Loeffler about Notre Dame and all the money games they've got coming in years to the future. like Tennessee and Michigan and Penn State, to name a few, Ohio State at the shoe. And he said money games are necessary. We want to get to the point where we're competitive in a number of those money games.
Yeah.
That likely won't be the situation this year against Notre Dame, as many would expect.
Yeah, what did he mention at the time that he was in the stands and saw Bowling Green, was it, that against Ohio State, that had an opportunity to win late in the ball game back in the day?
Yep, at the shoe, no less.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, Scott was on the sidelines when Michigan lost to App State in 2003 with the game that shocked the college football world. There was a lot about upsets and near upsets. This ball is returnable from about the 5. Bryson Denley with a nice return. We've seen him in the backfield as a third running back, John, but now in the return here as a kickoff specialist.
See what Bowling Green decides to do here. First opportunity to maybe work kind of a 2-minute offense, if you will. You have, you know, a big lead in this ball game, so that gives you the ability to, you know, if you have a turnover here, you can still absorb that a little bit. Well, let's see if they try to do something here. Looks like they've lined up with 3 tight ends in there now.
Yeah. It's like a running situation, and in fact, they'll run the football on first down. It's been Clare tonight, and Denley and Jones, the 3 principal running backs. That's Andrew Clare. Quotes from Philippians that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and he's just a model kid.
Yeah.
Just somebody everybody really takes to here on campus.
Yeah, you go to their website, you watch him. He's got a show, Andrew Clare Show, where he's going around interviewing everybody and doing those things. Fun guy. Everybody likes him.
Back to the run, back to Clare. He's got the first down to midfield and beyond. And now let's see if Bowling Green, with 2 timeouts remaining, tries to strike for more.
Yeah, they get the benefit of the clock stopping here at that first down, and they'll get to the line quickly. And they practice going fast, so not a surprise or no change for them.
Yeah, look for Ortega Jones, Prather, a couple of principal receivers out there. All with good hands, all with good speed. 2 wideouts near side. Wade to throw, got time. Throws a nice football, doesn't he? Oh yeah, there's Quentin Morris too, by the way.
Yeah, and another well-designed play that time. They had their wide receiver basically running out and just sit there and have the cornerback come up on him, and then it was just a soft throw over the top to the big Q on the outside.
John and I will recap the first half after the break, and also Laura Rutledge with a look at the Heisman hopefuls for 2019. Plenty of time to throw the football. Man coverage, end zone. Little push off, incomplete. Bowling Green, despite the catch, we'll have to bring this back, and I think Morgan State wanted offensive pass interference. John, did you see it?
Yeah, I tend to think maybe he did have a little bit of a push off there and got away with it, but maybe he wouldn't. Let's take a look. See, you could just at the end there, you could see him extend his arms. Let's see, is there, yeah, maybe a little bit, not too bad. I mean,
now Wade in trouble, will keep the ball. He's got a lot of space. And pushed out of bounds with 7 seconds to go in the first half. Nice move by Darius Wade. Another BC transfer. This is almost like Boston College West here with the number of BC transfers and also coaching as well. And now Bowling Green will use a timeout.
One of the reasons why I think they're having such early success too is because Darius Wade is familiar with the offense.
Yeah.
You got a guy like Grant Loy who's been here at Bowling Green and is very capable of running the offense, but Darius Wade has done it under pressure with these same play calls. So good timeout here though with 7 seconds left to go. You don't want to go in the locker room with 1 left, so good timeout here. Gather your team together and talk about what you want to do down here. Your first time to be in this pressure situation and see how they handle it.
Tonight on the ACC Network debut, it's Clemson 7, Georgia Tech nothing. Clemson defending national champions, having thrashed Alabama in the big game last year. Buffalo jumping on Robert Morris early with 2 first-quarter scores, leading at halftime 28-10. Cincinnati, UCLA, it's still Bearcats 10, Bruins 7. 30 seconds to go first half. about the job that Coach Finkel has done at Cincinnati with 11 wins last year, and now a chance to beat a Power 5 team tonight.
Thought that score would be a little bit higher. Chip Kelly, the offense out at UCLA, really just not being able to get things going.
7 seconds to go. 1 timeout remains. Chance for maybe 2 throws to the end zone here. Claire back defending. Wade to quarterback shotgun. Here comes pressure. Wade with time, throwing over the middle. Ball caught short of the end zone with a second to go, and now time elapses. The question is, did Bowling Green get a timeout before the clock went off? Clock is showing 0. Falcons are sending out the field goal team.
Scott Leffler, he was running down the field trying to get in front of the official there. He's going to have to take a break at halftime. He was sprinting down the field to try to get that timeout and got there just in time.
They're going to reset the clock, I think, to 2 seconds remaining. Catch, 2 to go, and likely to timeout, what, a microsecond after that by Scott Leffler?
Yeah, he was there, so I think he legitimately got there to get the timeout.
Give Nate Needham a chance to nail what looks like an extra point.
Yeah, you tell the officials, actually, if you're a quarterback, hey, we're going to call a timeout if we don't get in the end zone here, so they're heads up that something's going to happen, and they know it anyway, so just remind them, give them that little extra.
Ronho, the punter, will hold. And the snap for the 20-yard field goal to commence, which will end the first half. Now Needham to throw, we think, to the end zone, picked off. End of the first half.
Special teams.
Yeah. There's a young man, good-looking kid. And playing his heart out tonight, even on a tough night for Morgan State. First offensive series, second half. And averaging just a yard of play, there has not been any real estate available running up the middle, as the front edge and front side of Bowling Green has just been very intimidating, and when DJ's been able to pass the ball, not much has really been available.
No, you just see 6 attempts on the day. We knew they were going to come in here and try to maybe use 2 tight ends, try to run the football as much as they can, try to control the clock. But things have just not worked out for them being able to move the chains.
Haven't had a chance for 24 Josh Chase to do much. Penalty flag on the play. On a short pass, it almost doubles as a run to the 32-yard line. Robinson on the catch. There's a hold.
Holding. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
And that comes up against Stefan Tuani. So Tuani guilty of the penalty. 6'4", 300-pound junior. That'll set him back 10 yards.
Right in front of you. You can see it happening in front of the official.
2nd and 19 for the team for the MEAC Conference. Great success many years past, trying to get back to it, as Tyrone Wheatley is the 4th coach in many a year. DJ does a nice job running out of trouble and able to move the football up to the 20-yard line. He was getting a lot of heat and able to return this to the 20.
Ability to keep the play alive. You said at the top, you know, he's a guy that kind of can be a dual threat for you. To me, though, all night long, he's been just hobbling a bit. I'm not sure that he doesn't have some type of a leg problem out there, but he's giving it his all right now. As I said, no chance to go back and traditionally drop back and throw the football. So anytime he's been back there, he's been on the move or been threatened.
54, Nico Lawton was applying the pressure moments ago. They got to pick up a lot here on 3rd down. Instead, throwing underneath the coverage. Good pass to 25-yard line. Well short of the first time, and time to give up the football again as Evan Brown up there to make the stop, and that's the end of this drive, which doesn't go very far or very long. So Jake Rogers back for Bowling Green at his own 40. And Nicholas O'Shea with another punt. Fair catch, 40-yard line, nicely done by Rogers, and for O'Shea, that is his 6th punt of the night. Just a couple minutes into the second half. I think the one thing we'll see in this last 2 quarters of play, John, is a lot of players, which I know that both coordinators and the head coach wanted to see tonight. Everybody get the jitters out of the way, and more importantly, add to a team that's lacking in depth and certainly lacking in confidence and experience. Darius had a good first half, 16 of 22, 188, 2 scores.
Yeah, if you'd have said before the first ball game, how would you like that for a first half? You'd take that any day. Those are really good numbers.
He'll start the second half throwing the football. Out to the flat, releases, ball caught, Clair. First down into Morgan State territory, and Clair still fighting inside the 45-yard line. Well, Clair came to camp, and the story was probably not as fit as he should be, and Scott Loeffler said after a few weeks of grueling camp work, that changed in a hurry.
Well, it's changed for a lot of players on this team. Kevin Tolbert, the strength coach on this team, was given a lot of credit on how he's turned this team around. Guys that we've
seen the really good teams as Clair carries the ball there, rebuild their offensive and defensive lines, and when it comes to Tolbert, strength was the point of emphasis.
Yeah, you were talking about guys that were bench pressing 185 pounds. They were doing it 8 times. Now they're 225, and they're doing it in the teens, up around 15, 16 times. So he said a lot of credit to Kevin Tolbert. He said it not only to us on the phone, he said it during his media conference this week too, how much credit he gives to a strength coach.
Back to the run game. Jones, the ball carrier, breaks a tackle, carries inside the 30-yard line. First down for Bowling Green.
Well, those strength coaches spend more time with these players really than the coaches do when you talk about off-season and the training and the summer and everything else that they do. So they are such an important part of that coaching staff.
Get some friendships established too. Wade fakes, throwing to the flats, and not much there. In fact, that's going to be an incomplete pass intended for Quentin Morris as he was tackled in open field. Morris with 2 very important plays in the first half, and right now the defense of Morgan State, David Wilson on that play has really played better, I think, toward the end of the first half. Start here the second.
Well, the key is going to be, do your guys continue to play hard when you're down 30-3? Will they come out in the second half and perform? That's what Tyrone Wheatley's going to find out about his guys.
Starting to see Darius Wade do a lot of underneath routes right here, picking up 6-7 yards. And he's finding his receivers really with a lot of cushion.
Yeah, plenty of room out there. They haven't thrown a whole lot of deep balls yet, really kind of taken the top off of anything. It's all been underneath stuff. Everything's been controlled on this offense.
Ortega Jones had the reception. Here's Jones carrying the football, flag on the play. We'll see if that's coming back. With 10:51 to go, third quarter. All Falcons, if you're just joining us, here's the referee.
Personal foul, chop block, offense number 65 and 63. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Correction, remains first down.
That's on both Jack Kramer and Sam Neveroff. Kramer is he's a leader on this team, 65, the man under center. Depending on big things from him this year, as you might expect. He is a redshirt senior who stands 6'3", 301, and that front line has done a nice job blocking for Wade, minus that play right there.
Yeah, Terry Malone, the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, said he knew who the leader of this offense was the first day they met when Jack Kramer came into that meeting room. He said just the way he led that offense in there, he knew exactly who the leader of this football team was, and especially the offensive line.
Yeah, by the way, 65, the center, Jack Kramer, is up for the Dave Remington Trophy, which awards the best center in the country, and he's got a chance too. 2nd and a quarter of the football field, 2nd and 25. Got to get the ball all the way to the 9 of Morgan State. 30-3 Falcons, early third quarter. Darius Wade has started and has gone the distance. Bowling Green with a total of 401 yards in this game. Nice play by Juwan Hudson as Austin Doris, the transfer from Indiana, is injured.
Oh, I don't like to see that, and Darius Wade's going to get a talking to, I think, by his coaching staff and especially Scott Loeffler. You do not want to lead your tight end over the middle like this, and he led him right into the linebacker, and Austin Doris looks like he's kind of pointing down to that hip area as that ball was thrown late over the middle. No chance for Doris to escape the hit.
Cincinnati, UCLA have started the third quarter at Nippert Stadium. It remains Bearcats 10-7. There's a look at the play you're talking, in which Norris was turned around and as a result got the stick and then the injury on the play. So let's see if Austin is going to be able to recover from this. He's still down, and we'll try to update his situation when we come. End zone view of Bowling Green State University. Austin Doris still trying to work through that pop he took moments ago. See if the grad student from IU is going to be okay. In the meantime, when play resumes, ball marked at the 33. It is 3rd and 25 for Bowling Green in Morgan State territory, and that's Darius Way, the starting quarterback. Has not thrown deep often. Here comes the blitz. Got a man over the middle, incomplete. Well, Joey was in position to make the catch, just didn't.
Joey Carroll, the true freshman out of Toledo, Ohio, stole one out of Toledo, get him to come here to Bowling Green. And boy, your freshman year, you got to throw right down the middle, right there. You hit you right in the hands. That's a tough way to start for the young man.
So Nate Needham is going to try a long one here from 50. Wind has calmed down, certainly at his back for the kick. It remains 30-3 Bowling Green with 10.5 to go, and Morgan State has held firm here to start the second half.
Yeah, another. Well, you can't really say some special teams there. That was a long field goal attempt, but you'd like to be able to get the 3. You're kicking with the wind, of course, going in that direction. That's why they attempted it. But see if Morgan State now can get something going. They have just not been able to even move the chains much on this Bowling Green defense.
DeAndre Harris is the backup quarterback. We had the impression we'd see him tonight. Are you surprised we haven't?
Yeah, I am at this point.
Probably the most positive run right there to the 40-yard line and a pickup of 7.
Yeah, the other thing I'd have to say too is you really can't necessarily blame anything on any quarterback for the situation. They haven't been able to run the football, therefore you can't run it. You probably can't throw it either. So not with this type of offense in a pro style. I mean, you got to establish the run first, and then when you do that, then you'll be able to throw it.
Going to be faced with a 3rd and manageable from the 40-yard line. Clock stopped for the moment. There's a flag on the play.
There is no foul on the previous play. The block in question has been deemed legal. 3rd down.
Haven't seen any blindside hits that Jeremy Valentine talked to us prior to the game about, or any targeting so far tonight.
Been pretty clean as far as that goes. One late hit in the end zone and then a retaliation. Outside of that, it's been pretty clean.
3rd down's been a tough down for the Bears tonight. They have converted just once. Need to pick up 3 yards. DJ able to alert pressure. He's going to get their second first down and still going with a football. Nice play by Dion DJ Golat, who carries inside the 45-yard line. A pickup of 16, good enough for a first down.
The quarterback scramble, and you got to have to label that as one of the most explosive plays they've really had all night. He was really running for his life back there. Nowhere to go, can't look down the field to find a receiver, so just tuck it and get what you can. Most importantly, he keeps the drive alive.
DJ does a nice job of making people miss. He, by the way, committed to Morgan State back in January, 22nd of the month, 2017. His last game last season, he threw for 3 touchdowns and he ran for 1. They split the duties last year with his competing quarterback, and this year he has been given the starting position for the time being.
Yeah, he was a 4-year starter coming out of high school. His senior year, he had over 2,000 yards passing and 429 rushing.
Going to get rid of the football there in a wise play on 2nd and 6.
Step out for intentional grounding in the previous play. The quarterback was outside the tackle box, and the ball crossed the line of scrimmage. It's an incomplete pass, third down.
Interesting part of the scheduling for Tyrone Wheatley, Bowling Green tonight, then 2 weeks off before they go to Harrisonburg, Virginia, to face a longtime FCS power in James Madison. And then after that, there is no time off the rest of the year. Sometimes that's the way the schedule breaks.
James Madison on the road to Morgantown at West Virginia.
Remember James Madison a while back, and Mickey's team, Roberts in on the sack, and the upset of all time against Virginia Tech, Frank Beamer.
Well, that's Jerry Roberts right there, and Brandon Pierce, the two linebackers that we talked about with no starting experience. Those guys have been impressive today. Brandon Pierce has been a guy that I've had my eyes on today. His ability to play physical, I like what he brings to this defense.
Taking him from a 2nd and 3, or rather 3rd and 3, now to 4th and 16, forcing the Bears to punt. Good pressure on the punt. It's going to be a penalty on the play, as the punter was hit at the 40-yard line. So O'Shea, on his 7th attempt of a punt, was knocked to the ground. Now check with Morgan State as to what it's like to do with the penalty.
Running game the kicker, defense, 5-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
So before we take a television break, we'll do it again.
Running into the kicker here, and a little bit of acting. I don't know if that's running into the kicker or just walking into the kicker, or what you want to call it, but
that was Aldridge Seguero, number 15 for Bowling Green.
Did his best to hold up, just wasn't able to do it.
Penalty improves the spot 5 yards. Now it will come for the line of scrimmage at the Bowling Green 45. O'Shea once again trying a little coffin corner action. Rogers, fair catch at the 15. That's a punt at 30. And no return. We are halfway through the 3rd quarter. And no one has scored in the 3rd quarter. 30-3 in favor of the Falcons. No Scott Miller available this year to the Bowling Green offense, as he's now playing Tampa Bay. 6th-round draft pick, has a couple catches tonight. Darius Wade, in the meantime, found other people to throw it to and hand off to, John.
Well, you're talking about a stable of backs to be able to hand the football off to, but you've got guys like Quentin Morris on the outside too. This is a look at the young freshman there, Ortega Jones, as he almost got in the end zone for the first time. But there are a lot of weapons on this offense, and they like to spread it around.
Just mentioned Scott Miller again with 2 catches tonight in the exhibition finale against the Cowboys. What do you think his chances are of making that team?
Well, and talking with the people around the press box here, they think it's a pretty good shot. He had some ankle problems earlier in the camp, but had an opportunity to run back some kicks last week, had a couple catches. So as a 6th-round pick, I think he's proven himself right now, and I think he's got a good opportunity.
And we know a lot of the fact that the Bucs like him. I don't know if he's a wide receiver or a slot, but being able to do special teams, always an asset in trying to make the league.
Yeah. Bowling Green has a few guys in the NFL. When you're talking, they've got 5 guys currently in the NFL. 4 of them are wide receivers. So Roger Lewis is a guy, Dieter is a guy, Scott Miller was there. So Ryan Hunter, offensive lineman, had the opportunity. So wide receiver university here.
Yeah, Jaron Dagey, of course, still playing college football, but now at West Virginia, having transferred after a sparkling season last year for Bowling Green on offense.
Yeah, we mentioned James Madison, West Virginia on upset alert down there with all the returning players James Madison has.
Jones with a pickup there. He's had an impressive first half plus 3rd quarter. Allows Bowling Green to move the sticks with 6.5 to go in the 3rd. Falcons with 2 first-quarter touchdowns, 2 more in the 2nd. Darius Wade has gone the distance as quarterback. And when he gets into open space, he can make some people miss, and he can find the near sidelines where that's an additional 5+ yards sometimes.
What I like about him is he doesn't look to run the football first.
No.
You know, he wants to throw the football down the field, be a quarterback, but he has the ability to pull it down and run with it. And I think, oh, that's what makes him so dangerous. But he keeps his eyes down the field with that opportunity to throw it.
Same opportunity there, a little flare out. This time Denley with a catch has got the first down, and Bryson not only gets the first down, he gets 6 yards after the play. Plus 16 for the third string running back on this group.
Denley's a guy that had 15 catches last year too. Both him, Claire, and proven tonight that Jones also out of the backfield can catch the football. So good check down guys to be able to go to, and when you have a guy with experience like Darius Wade who knows where his check down receiver is, you're going to get some thrown your direction.
Head coach Scott Loeffler, first season, says running back is the top position on this team. And in fact, we go back to the fact that the defense had so many problems stopping people last year. A good running attack that chews up clock, keeps the defense off the field as you try to rebuild that particular part of your team.
Yeah, and if you look back to last year, this was kind of a spread team, hurry up offense and do what you can. Didn't give the defense a whole lot of rest on it, but Jared Dagey, as you mentioned, transferred to West Virginia. He got the clearance to be able to play this year, but West Virginia had different plans. I think they're going to redshirt him. He had some shoulder problems too in the offseason, so he more than likely will not see action this year for the Mountaineers.
So that gives the Boston College graduate and transfer Darius Wade a chance. Matt McDonald trying to become eligible. Still being defined by the NCAA as to whether he can play or not. And he will certainly figure into the mix because we talked to Terry Malone, the offense coordinator. They said McDonald, he looks like a quarterback.
Yes. Jordan Wayne Prather, guys, made a few catches today, but he finished the year really good last year. 3 consecutive multi-catch games to finish the year. So he was expected, if the offense to stay around, to get a lot of passes thrown in his direction. And with this offense tonight showing all the balance, I think all these receivers and running backs have to be happy. You're going to need a lot of footballs to be able to make everybody happy in this offense. And so far tonight, they've been able to spread it around.
And that's what they call a pleasant problem, right?
Yes.
First down, Bowling Green. Wade back to throw again, and again a short outlet. So at this point of the season, with Kansas State coming up, this is just the first game, of course, and others, are you showing your entire playbook? Are you showing things that you may not use in game 2 when you get to K-State? What exactly are you doing with the big league?
No, I think you're running your offense. I mean, if you ask the coaches, do they have everything in they need to have in? No, I don't think that's the case. But you know, this is what you're going to be. You're going to see this football team try to run the football, establish the running games. They've got a big offensive line that's gotten a lot stronger that they've been relying on. And they want to keep that defense off the field as much as possible. So I think week in and week out, this is going to be a good look at what you're going to see from this Bowling Green offense.
And even with a sizable lead, but good looking drive right here. Play number 9 coming up. Another first down. You take a first down, gain 6, 7, 8 yards on it, make it second and very manageable. If they get to third down, it's quite short. They pick up another first down, clock moves, and so do the chains.
Yeah, I just wondered what was going to happen in this game. Tyrone Wheatley said, well, you know, it may be one of those things like the old days, 3 yards in a cloud of dust back in the day here at Michigan, but been a little bit more than 3 yards so far for Bowling Green offensively, more like 6.9 per play.
Yeah, back to Bryson Denley and another solid pickup on first down as he carries the football inside the 10. We saw Denley in the first half. We're seeing a lot of them here in the second half. We'll probably see some other backup tailbacks before this one concludes. Now Jones, the lone back behind quarterback Wade. Third quarter almost over. 2:15 remaining. Wade, Jones, touchdown. Another touchdown pass from Wade. Reception and score by Jones. It puts 6 more on the board for the Falcons. It is now 36-3.
Nice, easy play for the lefty. Roll to the left side. Find your back coming out of the backfield. Again, well-designed play where misdirection, and it all comes from being able to run the football first, hold those linebackers with play fakes, and then just be able to dink and dunk and make your way down the field.
Davon Jones with the score. Nate Needham with the extra point, and now Bowling Green's lead is its largest of the night. And with that, we'll step away. 2 minutes remain, quarter 3. Tonight on ESPN.
Look at the one on the left.
Ladies, you look good.
Selfie.
Oh, who's got the best one here so far? Huh? I'll be a tie. Be a couple of weeks before Bowling Green comes back home to face La Tech here. Louisiana Tech on the 14th. In the meantime, road game next week in Manhattan against Kansas State after this 85-yard, 13-play scoring drive. And then Kent State and Notre Dame on the road before the MAC really kicks into gear with Toledo and Central Michigan. Opportunity now in the second half to use a lot of people. And Mason Lawler will get a chance to kick off, number 93. Falcons have led from the start. Got the opening possession and marched all the way down the field, 77 yards and scored. Ball fumbled and now picked up. And a decent return to the 25-yard line. One thing we've seen from Morgan State and likely against second teamers, Jordan Cofield with a nice return. They're getting better field position on kickoffs and punts. Small thing, but nonetheless, trying to figure out what might be able to go from week 1 into week 2.
Find something to build on if you can, right? All 10 preseason all-conference performers coming back to this team, 17 starters returning, including 42 letter winners. So
Morgan State on the road at James Madison in 2 weeks, then at Army. It's always a tough game. And then back home for a game with North Carolina Central.
yeah, they are trying to do the right things there at Morgan State. I mean, Tyrone Wheatley bringing him in, trying to revamp this program, putting $2.5 million renovation project into the stadium.
Good point.
New track, new playing surface, doing all those things that helps recruit players.
Tyrone Wheatley was quoted as saying, right now character is more important than football.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the athletic director said, we're building this the Morgan way. And that's going to help. It brought in Kevin Broadus, heading up basketball right now. And all total, with the millions of dollars into improvements at the Baltimore campus, things are on the upswing. Tonight will not be an indication of that, but the fact remains weren't expected to be highly competitive anyway against a pretty good matchup anyway for the MAC and Bowling Green. Fast-moving third quarter about to come to conclusion. Labor Day weekend. Hope it's a happy and healthy and safe one for you, especially if you have to do some traveling. For you in particular, John, back to West Virginia tonight, 4 hours, without the aid of the limousine. Just a one-way trip.
And you back to Indy.
Yes, sir. This weekend, Ball State in Indiana, big battle. Cardinals for the MAC trying to turn things around under Mike New after some rough campaigns. Pretty good stick up front. And that might be the final play of the third quarter. Two teams won't have to march very far to change positions as the football is placed around the 44, and then they'll go to opposite sides to start the fourth quarter. We hope you stick around and join us. By the way, in Cincinnati, UCLA has just scored a 3-point game with 8:40 to go in the third. Cincinnati 17. Defensive coordinator Brian Van Gorder's got his hands full, but right now, at least through game 1, has to like what he has seen.
Yeah, this defense has played exceptional tonight, whether it's defending the run or defending the pass. They have been aggressive. They've played pretty pace too, so they haven't showed a whole lot out there, but what they have shown is exactly what they wanted, the physical toughness that they're trying to bring to this football team. And Brian Van Gorder, a guy that has been around to 19 different coaching stops in his career, including 7 years in the NFL and 9 combined years as the defensive coordinator at Georgia, Auburn, Notre Dame, Louisville. A lot of experience.
We came out of break. I was going to say, quick, name a place that Brian hasn't been.
Yeah, exactly. You know, for this program, too, in Bowling Green, you talk about 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years. How do you play a really good, solid defense when everything's always changing all the time?
Well, this defense really has been torched in a number of games, so how do you gain any confidence from that as well?
Yeah, I mean, when you're changing schemes all the time and doing that, that's why coaches say we just want our guys to play fast. So they play a base defense, learn it, and then play it fast. If you make a mistake, do something, do it quickly.
It's going to be Falcon football. Rogers is going to let that one go into the end zone as we start the 4th quarter. Jim Barber, John Gregory with you on opening night tonight on ESPN. Big week of college football. Clemson having its way with Georgia Tech so far tonight. That was hardly a surprise. Cincinnati, UCLA, we mentioned late 3rd quarter is close at 17-14 in favor of Cincinnati. Clemson looks like the next dynasty, leading Georgia Tech late first half at Death Valley 28-0.
Big changes. You talk about bringing in a new offense. Georgia Tech, of course, been running the option, what, for the last 11 years, I think it is?
Yeah.
Under Paul Johnson. Now, the big change, more traditional type of offense. So think about that offensive line that's been firing out all these years. Now you're starting to throw the football and you're an offensive lineman. You have to start backing up and blocking versus going out. That's one of the hardest transitions to make.
You're like changing the bone in Army or Air Force or something, you know? It's like culture shock for a while. Grant Loy now in the game for Bowling Green as the backup quarterback as Jones carries the football. He's had a steady diet of carries tonight. Back through 3 quarters, had averaged more than 4 yards a carry plus a touchdown. And the Falcons as a team have rushed for over 200. So a chance for Grant Loy to get some playing time. He'll keep the football here, and it's one of the things that Terry Malone tells us he does very well. He can run. He looks like a runner.
Yeah, we saw him do that last year, his ability to run. He had 160 yards rushing last year on 29 carries and had 1 start last year. And he's a guy that said that players have bought into what Coach Leffler's trying to do. So he's on board and doesn't get to start, but still, you know, he's leading this football team by example.
Here's Loy again. Looks like a running back or a fullback there, carrying the football into Morgan State territory down to the 35 and has a pickup of 19 for Grant Loy. Last year, limited activity. Did throw a couple of touchdown passes to one Scotty Miller. Now Loy wants to throw on first down, and that is incomplete. But Grant Loy in high school, number 13, was a pitcher, and it was a pretty good one at that.
Yeah. No, he can let it go, but you talk about his running ability. Jones, we mentioned the transfer from Boston College at 235 pounds. Grant Loy looks just as strong as him. Look at those arms he's got from a quarterback. So I needed to have long sleeves on. I would have never wore sleeves that short.
So you didn't look like that at Marshall, did you?
I needed to hide my arms.
Okay. Bryson Denley straight ahead. It's a youthful running back, number 12, has been pretty impressive tonight. He's not very big, but low to the ground he runs. He's hard to pick up.
This would have been a cold night for me.
It was 81 degrees at kickoff, too.
That's a freezing night.
3rd and 2 as we're into the 4th quarter. All Bowling Green all night long. As anticipated, once again, Loy to carry. Trying to negotiate his way through with a second effort. Gets 4, picks up the first down to the 23. So you have 2 quarterbacks on this team. Matt McDonald's not eligible, not yet. I think Darius Wade certainly confirmed his spot as the starter, but we're likely going to see a couple of quarterbacks this year in the type of schedule that Bowling Green has to navigate. Pitch back to Davon Jones, and Jones running wide this time. Inside the 20-yard line.
Interesting what Grant Loy said. He said not a lot of guys were left here when he first walked into this program and came on this team. Not a lot of guys left from the championship team, and he said there's not a lot of guys that know what it's like to win around here. So they need to create that winning attitude and doing all things right. That's what they're trying to do.
Got a chance to get to the end zone here. How about that? Couple of broken tackles, no problem. Score. '88, Christian Sims with a score. Got a nice block out front, too.
Yes, he did by his wide receiver down the field. That's R.B. Marlowe. He's going to get some credit when they're watching film tomorrow, but another true freshman in Christian Sims, 6'4", 214 pounds. We saw Joey Carroll, another true freshman, getting an opportunity. And out of Norcross High School, Georgia, Christian Sims scores that touchdown. They've got a couple tight ends out of that high school in the NFL.
Good breeding ground there, certainly, and congratulations to the youngster on the touchdown. It's now 44-3. 3 minutes into quarter number 4 as the bench is empty. The bench is for been a good night tonight for the quarterbacks. First Darius Wade and now Loy on the touchdown pass to Sims, who almost just walked in. He did have to break one tackle, but had a great block from his wide receiver in the front.
Yep, and glad you noticed it because the coaches will, and they'll talk about that big block down there. Yes, can you do it when you're up by 30 points in a ball game? Make those blocks down the field, and good to see Grant Loy get a touchdown pass there and control this offense. You can see 9 plays, 80 yards, and an easy jog into the end zone by Sims with a pretty athletic move.
Short kick, return from the 20. Updating the game at Nippert Stadium, end of 3. Cincinnati threatening and leading UCLA by 3, 17-14. Miami and Cincinnati continue their rivalry in college football again this year. MAC's got a lot of good non-conference matchups. Kent State getting started with Arizona State in a matter of minutes. Of course, Bowling Green will see Kansas State next week and then Notre Dame in 3 weeks from that.
Yeah. Another big rival, too, my old school Marshall and in Ohio. You playing again this year, too. Always like to see the Battle of the Belt.
Morgan State football, 11:45 to go. Tyrone Wheatley's first game as head coach. So if we had to project what Morgan State will look like as the season progresses, do you think Wheatley goes power formation, 2 backs, or with DJ tries to get him a little bit more out in space, even though he's not quarterbacking right now, he's got the backup in, but what do you anticipate we'll see from this offense?
Yeah, I think you have to go with, the 2 guys. That's what he's going to live. That's what he wants, and I think you're gonna force it eventually. I mean, you got to use what you're putting. The players' athletic ability. He said one of the things they want to do is keep the concept, keep the verbiage, do the same things as last year. Maybe formation them a little bit different, but I think they're going to live on running the football, and that's what they've got to do.
Quarterback now is 10, Doc Bonner. Great first name for a quarterback, don't you think?
Doc, yes.
Yep.
Yep. Transfer from Air Force.
And actually was in spring ball at Air Force. Now remember, there was no spring ball at Morgan State because of academic punishment, academic violations over the last couple of seasons. This time Doc is welcome to play in the Mid-American Conference. Anders getting a chance to do his thing from his position, number 37.
Yeah, you get a guy in there that hasn't been playing. You're going to go after him and threaten him right away, see what he has, see if you can force him around and show what his athletic ability is, and wrap up in tackling. And one of the other things we haven't mentioned tonight is not a whole lot of missed tackles from this Bowling Green defense. They've been able to lock guys up. I think Coach Van Gorder is going to be very happy with his defense, how they've been performing tonight and doing the little things.
There's a junior from North Olmsted here in the state of Ohio. Cincinnati's Michael Warren has his second touchdown of the night. The lead is back to 10 for the Bearcats over the Bruins. And this drive will start just shy of the 35-yard line with 9 3/4 of a minute remaining. A lot of people are putting their hands on Ohio as the favorite to do a lot of great things in the MAC and maybe play, certainly not in a Big Six bowl game necessarily, but in a high-profile game when it's over. What might you project at this point from the
I think when you look at where they have and where they're the position players they have, especially starting at the quarterback position, I think probably the best in the league as far as that goes. So they're always tough and physical and do all the little things right under Frank Solich. And, you know, he just reloads, it seems like. So no question about that, them being on top of that side of it. And could be a pretty good battle. The East there's a lot of good teams in the East.
It's Jake Rogers getting a chance to run the football. We have seen him on punt returns tonight. But his first opportunity on handoff and going wide to the near side. I said, hey, coach, how about me tonight?
Yeah.
Huh? Well, Loy presents such a threat. I think of Riley Neal when he was at Ball State. When he was healthy, running the football just like a gazelle on the field.
Yeah.
Those long legs. And Neal now is playing at Vanderbilt as a graduate transfer.
What Bowling Green too, now bringing in a couple tight ends on that last one, loading up that line and just letting Loy pick a spot.
And there's the spot he picks, and straight ahead he goes, and he gets 5 on the play. And it's another Bowling Green first down, and it continues to chew up clock in this game as we're down to 8 minutes and 40 seconds.
Well, this will give the teams that are coming up on Bowling Green's schedule another thing to work on defensively. What happens when Loy gets into the ball game? You know, are they going to just be a dominant quarterback run team? Are they going to play action off of it? So you'll see him give some wrinkles to him just to make these other defenses start to think and game plan.
K-State under new management. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once again, Loy, and once again caring for another first down as he runs the ball to the 41-yard line, and that is a pickup of 12. Grant Loy is a big kid.
Yeah, going to be in pretty good shape. Good thing they've got that strength and conditioning program that they've put together by Kevin Tolbert, because he's getting some work in right now. He's making up for not getting a play in the first 3 quarters.
You know, Mike Jinks got a lot of criticism for not being able to develop Bowling Green. Of course, Dino Babers was, when he left here, left with a few weapons, and obviously the style could not be duplicated. And probably Mike's biggest deficiency is just something that came into the job with him. He had not been a head coach in Division I, had not been active as a head coach except as a running back coach. I think he did the best he could, but did not have the experience, nor did the staff.
No, you think about that from a pure staff standpoint. I mentioned earlier the years and the experience on this Bowling Green coaching staff. How about this? 150 players
Wow.
have gone on to the NFL under this coaching staff. So that's 30 years of experience as an offensive on the offensive coordinator side, and over 20 years experience on the defensive coordinator side. And you bring that type of experience in here, it's going to make a difference.
Scott Loeffler, the head coach at Bowling Green, was telling us he had a visit from Urban Meyer, somebody he had worked with over the years. And Meyer, former Bowling Green coach for a couple of successful seasons back at camp, got a chance to chat with the team. Yes, Meyer's biggest advice was just be yourself. And I suppose the first thing as a head coach is find out who yourself is.
Yeah. Yeah, take a piece, as we said before, of every other guy that you've been around. Bowling Green quickly to the line. See, those are the little things even late in the 4th quarter that you can work on. How are we going to respond to a 4th and short situation? Are we going to get up to the line quick and make something happen there? So what you work on in practice, can you make that work in the game? That's a good example right there.
Falcons right now without a huddle. Give Kansas State something to think about for the matchup next week. James Gilbert, who elected as a graduate of Ball State to leave the Muncie campus and now to play football in his final year for K-State, will be on hand next week. It should be a competitive matchup, and Bowling Green's got a chance to start out 2-0. It won't be easy, certainly. It won't be anything like this tonight, I would think.
So many. With all these transfers going on, it seems like every week there's somebody going to play with a chip on their shoulder that they left that previous team or something. Tonight, example of Cincinnati's running back.
I like the transfer portal, really, and I like the free agency with the graduates. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I don't know. It's so difficult for coaches. You know, you get a guy, especially from the quarterback standpoint. There's guys in the portal with nowhere to go. There's just so many guys out there with not enough scholarships available to them. So it's tough. And then you burn a bridge and you don't go, and it's hard.
John Steinbrecher, commissioner of the MAC, shared before the game tonight with us the fact that really there hasn't been a big difference in the MAC as to who has been going and who's been coming. Numbers seem to be fairly equal to that of the past.
Well, maybe, but just look at this ball game here today. How many Bowling Green players? How many Boston College players are playing here? And Daigie's gone from this Bowling Green team, transfers to West Virginia. So there's a lot of movement.
So I imagine you're not a fan of free agency here.
Well, I think everybody has the right to be able to play where they want to play. So,
sure, I agree.
Yeah.
Coaches certainly have been able to, extend the territory whenever they wanted to. Nice pass from Malloy out in the flat. And another Bowling Green first down, and this one is down to the 11-yard line.
Yeah, one of the things I think I would like that would be good is you can get in the transfer portal as long as you're keeping your grades up and you're progressing toward graduation. I think that's probably as important as anything. So guys sometimes will give up on some schooling if they're not going to be at a particular school. So
good point.
If they can add that in there somehow, some way, and limit the number. Maybe you can do it one time, but you have to be efficient in the classroom, maybe a certain grade point average, but outside of that, you can have the ability to go where you want to go.
No, Massey made the catch for the first down. It's a good sign of sportsmanship right now that Scott Loeffler is slowing things down. Use all the clock as possible. Get a touchdown, fine. Don't get a touchdown, not a big deal.
Yep.
You're winning the game convincingly, and getting a chance to play everybody. The kids in there want to score. That's a given. But Scott is allowing his team to use as much clock as necessary.
It's the right thing to do, and he's got a friend across the field that's been a long-time friend of his too. So there's some respect there that you have to give. Even if he's not your friend, there's respect because you've been on the other side of things too.
Well, after tonight, Loeffler could be a big fan of Tyrone Wheatley's team the rest of the year.
And he said that too. Yeah. He said, he doesn't wish him a whole lot of luck tonight, but for the rest of the year, he hopes he wins out.
I'm sure the feeling was mutual. Under 3.5 now for the game. Only thing now is, will the Falcons strike half a century? And you would think that maybe in a couple of weeks, this might convince some Bowling Green fans who have gone away and jumped off the bandwagon to say, wait a minute, maybe we ought to check these guys out.
Yeah.
Not that fans are fickle, of course.
That's not the case at all. Well, you get a good showing at Kansas State, and they're like, wait a minute, what do we have? What do we have here?
Now down to 2:45 on a 3rd and 10. And the play clock practically to 0. Nice run there for a modest game, but a couple of missed tackles. We've seen 5 or 6 or maybe 7 different running backs tonight. It was Nigel Seeley carrying the football there, and it's now 4th and 7.
Yep, and they keep the kicking team off the field here, not to put any more points on the board, but if they happen to get them on a first down here, you're just going to run your offense and see what happens.
2 minutes remaining. And the football turned over to Morgan State. I'll be Ball State next week. Interesting to see the Cardinals and Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin's team, which is loaded up with a lot of former D1 stars. Back to finish things up. .147 remains. Jim Barber, John Gregory, just about ready to put a button on this game between the MEAC and the Mid-American Conference. Scott Loeffler's debut, a success, as expected.
Well, if he didn't get any sleep last night, he may get it tonight.
Maybe an extra hour or two.
Maybe not that long, because he'll be in a hurry to get back in and look at film.
Sure. Look ahead to Kansas State, a trip to Manhattan. Doc throwing on first down, has to get rid of it the last minute. He was under pressure even for the backups. And there's a flag on the play at the end. Are we looking at roughing the quarterback? Or
No, I think
Quarterback was in the pocket.
safety.
There was no receiver in the area. Intentional grounding. Offense number 10. That foul
points.
for the end zone. Results in a safety.
Yep. Good call, John. So the defense now has accounted for 9 points, forcing a fumble that led to a touchdown, and now this. Doc was under a lot of pressure there, and he had no time.
No, nowhere to go with the football, and the only thing he could do was throw it away and hope that the official doesn't get him for intentional grounding. And again, Scott Loeffler said he wanted to play complementary football. He needed his offense, defense, and special teams to play together. I think he got some pretty complementary football today. One thing he did say, he wants his special teams to be elite. They have to be elite.
And they weren't special tonight. They had moments.
They weren't elite, but they had some special moments. It was good, but so if we're gonna pick on something,
Well, you
what do
had a missed extra
pick
point.
on? Yep.
And you had a botched field goal attempt. So,
Outside of that, that's what made it not elite tonight.
but I mean, he doesn't have experience as a special teams coach, right?
Oh no, it's all his fault. It's all his fault.
He's just learning the gig.
Good job for them tonight and what they've done and what they've accomplished, and that's really got to make these players feel really good after a very difficult, tough physical camp. So you wonder down the road, what is Toledo thinking? They're watching this tonight. They're thinking, oh, okay. You know, one of the things Scott Loeffler did too is he started playing the Toledo drill, started playing their fight song during some periods of their practice out there today. So it's going to be a lot of fun later this year.
The I-75 rivalry.
He's made it important. He's brought it up and said, we're not going to duck that thing. We need to make that game important. It's always has been in the past, and it needs to be from a recruiting standpoint.
Well, Lee Corso used to say, win your opener, your rivalry game, and end of season. Sometimes your end of season is also a rivalry game when you're homecoming too.
Yeah, I was going to say that makes for a good evening. Oh.
Falcons likely will run out the clock here with 1:33, and we will run out to a commercial break. An injured Morgan State player, or maybe it's an injured Falcon on the field right now. We'll try to update. 30-3 at the break. Bowling Green is at 16 here in the second half, including a safety. And right now it's the victory formation for the Falcons, and Tyrone Wheatley Jr. will get his team on the plane tonight and regroup for 2 weeks from now when they visit James Madison in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and then on to face Army up in West Point. So a very tough opening schedule for Morgan State.
Yeah, sure is. Sure is. There's Scott still coaching. There's the intensity. Game's not over.
Didn't Terry Malone say, you know what? He was talking about Mac McDonald. He had 2 years under Scott Loeffler. He said, man, that couldn't have been easy.
I like it. Intensity.
Sure.
Minute to go in this ball game, 46-3, and setting the tone.
After this play, Falcons may be able to run out the clock pending when the reset of the 40 starts. Looks like there's going to be one more opportunity. So two longtime friends will meet at midfield. Wish each other the best, and on their separate ways in the MEAC and the Mid-American Conference this year, and that will do it.
Pretty clean game as far as what you want to accomplish. If you're Bowling Green, Morgan State, they'll find some things out of this thing, knowing that they're playing up at a different level without a spring underneath them. So this is their spring kind of to get started.
John, have fun in the Ville next week with Eastern Kentucky and Louisville.
And you do the same.
Longtime friends, a lot of Michigan people getting together here at the conclusion. Coaching staffs, it's not always easy, even for the winning team, knowing their friends are on the other side.